There are 5 key components to producing healthy, hardy seedlings indoors. I'll cover them all in this video, as well as share some of the tools and tricks I've learned to make the process easier, more organized, and less messy. Watch the full video to learn how to win $100 in heirloom seeds. Your success starts with a good quality seed starter or potting soil. Seed starter mixes are usually light and fluffy, which is great for drainage, but they typically don't contain a lot of nutrients. That's why I prefer to use a well-draining potting soil. I've had great success with Fox Farms Ocean Forest and Happy Frog potting mixes, and have yet to have any seedlings burn from the nutrient content within them. But there are many great brands out there. As long as you choose something with good drainage, that isn't too high in nutrient content, especially nitrogen, and it's free of large wood debris, you'll do just fine. And if you wanted to, you could even screen your potting soils for a finer substrate, but it's usually not necessary. If you can grab a handful of soil and squeeze more than a couple droplets of water out of it, then your mix is too wet. But on the other hand, if you squeeze it and it crumbles away, not holding any of its form, then it's too dry. The mix I have here is slightly on the dry side, but it's good enough that I'm not going to add any water until I water my seedlings. I have 3 secret weapons to not make a mess when I'm filling my seed trays: a concrete mixing tub, 2 boards, and a dustpan. I can fill the trays really quickly with the dustpan as opposed to a small shovel, and the boards keep my tray elevated and out of the dirt. And the mixing tub is the perfect height at 6 inches tall. This allows me to comfortably work off of a countertop. Raising seedlings is kind of like raising a child. You don't want to be too hard on them, but you also don't want to be too soft on them, or else they won't be prepared for the world outside. Which is another reason why I like to use potting mix as opposed to a light, fluffy seed starter mix. And also gently but firmly press down the soil in each of the cells of my trays. This makes it slightly more difficult for the seed to sprout, creating a tougher, more resilient seedling while also culling out any genetically weak seeds. I would also recommend trays with air pruning slots whenever you have the option. This prevents those circular root balls you get on plants. Now that we have the trays prepared, let's choose what we're going to plant. To store my seed packets, I like to use these Craft and Photo Savers. The little boxes inside are color coded so you can put different vegetables in different colors, and they fit a seed packet pretty perfectly. Since I live in zone 6B, I plant my peppers and eggplants in early February, and I usually wait until March to plant my tomatoes since they grow so fast and take up quite a bit of room inside. While we're planting our trays, let's talk about the second key to success, and that is proper watering. Of course, your seeds will die if you let them completely dry out, but the more common issue is overwatering. I like to use stair-like containers to water my trays from the bottom and contain any soil that leaches out during the watering process. Every seed and seedling may have slightly different requirements, but as a general rule of thumb, let your seed trays slightly dry out between waterings. Too much water will drown the root zones of your plants and put them at risk for mold and fungal infections. And make sure if you're watering from the top, it's gentle enough not to damage your new seedlings. Spray bottles can work well for this. If you don't know the proper planting depth, the back of your seed packet will list this information. I usually use a thin stick, pencil, or pen to make my holes. After you've planted all your seeds in their new homes, the third key to success comes into play, and that is humidity. Most seeds and seedlings will benefit from high humid environments and will sprout much quicker if you provide one. Which is another benefit to having our seed trays in these stair-like containers. They act as mini greenhouses. We just have to put the lid on top. At this point, I recommend you label as you're planting, otherwise you'll have unidentified plants in a couple weeks. You can buy labels, use popsicle sticks, rocks, or even make your own out of some old yogurt containers. Just get them labeled so you don't forget. I like to buy thick plastic labels so I can reuse them every year. I just erase them with a piece of sandpaper. The fourth key to successful seedlings is temperature, and it's a critical one. If your soil's too cold, your seeds will not germinate. Most seeds prefer a soil temperature around 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Look up the optimal temperature for your seeds and get a heating mat if your environment can't supply it naturally. But be attentive when using them because they can dry out your soil pretty quickly. If you follow the first 4 keys to success, starting with good soil and getting temperature, humidity, and watering frequency right, your seeds will surely sprout, leading us into the fifth key to success: proper lighting. If you don't have enough window space and it's too cold to put your plants out during the day, you'll need to get some grow lights, or your seedlings will get long, weak, and leggy trying to search for light. If you do these 5 things, you'll have success. But here's 2 extra bonus tips if you want extra strong seedlings. Mimic the wind by putting fans on them for several hours a day. As they sway back and forth, it's like a mini workout for your plants, and it will strengthen the stems. You can also spray them with a foliar feed like this kelp extract I have here. Not only will they benefit from the nutrient content, but they'll also love the extra humidity. Now the benefit of doing all your seedlings in one of these 70 cell trays is you can fit a lot on one heating mat at a time, see what germinates, and then not waste the space. But if you don't want to transplant, let's say your pepper plants, these solo cups are a really good option. What I do is I take an awl, which you can get at Walmart for around $5. You can do 4 at a time, and then just punch through the top. Give yourself a bunch of good drainage holes. And then if you want to water from the bottom with these, all you have to do is get another cup that doesn't have the holes in the bottom. And you can put your pepper plant in there just like I have here. And if you're wondering what these are used in the restaurant industry to hold cups as they go through the dishwashers. They work really great for plants. You can fit almost any small pot in them, and they hold a lot of weight. So they're perfect for the springtime when you're trying to slowly transition your plants into full sun. And when you're not using them, they stack up really nicely. If you enjoyed this content, show your support by subscribing, and check the video description for details on how to win $100 worth of seeds.